So let me see what's going on in room number 9. You said your baby sheep has 2 extra front legs. Let's find the baby sheep. I really like that hat too. And what I want you all to be looking for, just to keep your eye out for. Go ahead and look for images. I'll show you some of the ones that y'all will be getting for Wednesday's class, just as examples of what you can create, play with, and bring in. Now you can bring in stock images, you can bring in images that you created. It doesn't matter for Wednesday class. You do not have to be in the AI class, but what happens is I give you some AI artwork, like the ones here, so that you have something that you can practice switching out and creating graphics with. And I don't mind if you use my graphics to place onto products that you're going to sell. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I want you and I to have the same level of graphic design skills, even though this might be your first time touching Photoshop. And I've been doing Photoshop for 24 years. Actually, I think it's 25 now because I think I started in 99. But in 99, 2000, that's when I started Photoshop. It was either 98 or 99. 98, 99. I would have to go back too far to remember what year I was in the 10th grade. Yeah, it was 99, 98, 99 that year, that school year. Ooh, Lord. All right. So what I want you to do is just see that these are the type of images that we're going to need to kind of create our situation here. And then also the patterns that you created. I'm going to show you how to use patterns to fill in your text here. Okay. And I will be giving you this font on Wednesday as well. You'll be able to have some fun with it. It's a typable font. And I'll show you that in just a little bit. You'll see that? It's a typable font. All right. So we're gonna have some fun with that in just a little bit when we do our template flip and demonstration. But I just don't I never want you to be developing AI artwork where you don't know where you're going to use it or how you're going to use it. So the idea is if I can show you on Wednesday how to do a template flip with AI artwork that you've developed, then you know how to create a sale with the AI artwork. Okay. So we're not just arbitrarily just making stuff just to have some cool on our Facebook and Instagram feed. All right, now I'm looking for this. I'm looking for the sheep with 4 legs in the front. Mhm. Is that it right there? Oh, no. Oh, you got baby bunny and baby lamb in there, and baby Highland and Highland cow. So it tried to mix all of those up. So if you wanted just one of those, then you would put just one of those. Um, 1, 2, 3. No, it has 4 legs, but that's not it. Show me. I like these bunny ears, y'all. So y'all have to use these, okay? These bunny ears look really, really cool. I want to see them on our Wednesday class. Customer happiness, we can let this one roll because this one is for, oh, this is our after party, right? So what we can do, we can stop the recording, do the after party separate from the Photoshop because we're not doing the demo for 259 until after we do a little Photoshopping first.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
All right, Nancy, I'm looking for your 6-legged lamb.
It's more up.
More up, more up. Is it
A little bit more.
okay? More, more, more.
Right there. Go down. Number 4.
Mm,
You missed it. Go down.
okay,
It's
this one
right
right?
there. Yeah,
Okay,
number 4.
number 4. Okay, so let's upscale number 4. See, this is why I love when you all have problems for me because this is fun to solve. And it puts a little pressure on me, especially when I do it live. All right, so I upscale number 4. There's some things we can do within Midjourney, and there's some things we can do in Photoshop. So I'm gonna scroll all the way to the bottom because that's where it goes whenever you upscale. Beautiful image, but yeah, we got a little bit of a problem. So first of all, let's go to Vary Region. And let's see inside of Midjourney, you want to get rid of the top arms or the bottom ones? Probably the top arms. Because if we get rid of the bottom ones, then it won't look like it has the ability to stand. So let's do this. Let's go here and here. And let's just run this again and see what it does with those arms. And this is the beautiful part about really learning how to use not just Midjourney but Photoshop as well, because many people can prompt and make beautiful artwork, but they don't have the abilities to do the editing. So with you having both sides of that, I think that's going to make you powerhouse when it comes to creating your designs. And would you look at that? We didn't even have to use Photoshop. It clearly understood that those were extra arms because in every last one of them, it took those arms out. So now, Nancy, you can choose which one of those renditions are best for you, and then you can upscale that one, and then you will have an image that you can use. Okay. Anybody else have any problems for me? Because I kind of like being a problem. I feel like a Ghostbuster, but kind of like a problem buster. And if not, what I'll do is I would just go into Photoshop and show you how I was able to clean up some of the artwork that we are going to be using for Wednesday's class. Anybody else have an issue? All right. So I'm going to go into my clip art here. I gave you all some of my stuff there. Okay. So like I was going to show you the problem for this one. So this one I'm missing, like I don't have the edge of these leaves here, which would make it a little difficult, look a little weird if I wanted to use just those bunny ears on my design for Wednesday. So what I can do is I can zoom out just a little bit, zoom out by 1.5 instead of by 2.0. I actually probably could have did a custom zoom of maybe like 1.25 and it probably would have given me the edges of the leaves there. So I'm going to let that work out. Those are some issues you might run into. We did the regional selection. So the regional selection, let's say you have something in there, or maybe you just don't like somebody's shirt. You can go in and choose that region and clean that up. I want to find the prettiest bunny ears. These sunflowers came out really nice. I could see that being used in a design. My carrot, I didn't have a good carrot before, and now I do, so I like number 2. This butterfly design came out really nice for number 2. And I'm gonna put in the word ears, and I get to search the whole group to see who has the best bunny ears. I really like number 4, Coach Nancy, because I like that it has feathers. When you put in boho chic, it's usually going to give you feathers, macrame, kind of crocheting, all of the beautiful hippie things. Those are kind of cool, cartoon style. Now, here's another thing. Some of you may be interested in like tattoo art. So that might be another style to put in if you're looking for graphics that kind of give you that tattoo art style. That is a different style that will stand out amongst all the other clip art as well. All right, let's see. So Emma, if you don't mind, I'm gonna jump on to this one because I want to show you how we would use something maybe like one. I'm sorry, like this is number two. Two is really pretty, and it still looks like bunny ears. Nancy, yours too. I think yours look a little more like bunny ears with the feathers. I want to show you all. I want to finally finish painting out the edges there, so that's good, perfect. So I'll show y'all how to use both of those. So we'll do number 4 here, upscale 4, boom, go to the bottom. Once we have it upscaled, we'll open it in browser, right click and save image as. Now let's say for instance, you like this image, but maybe you want it in a different color. I could vary this and tell it that I want it to be pink and purple and teal pastel colors. And because it's already developed the image, it may give me what I'm looking for here. It's not going to guarantee it because it's already kind of stuck on what it wants to be. However, you can add some variation, change the instructions, and watch it do what it does from there. All right, now I'm going to jump back on this one and show you what happened here. Remember, it was cutting off the edge there, and all it did was gave me some very subtle variations here. And really and truly, as long as it has a clean top and bottom like one does, I'm pushing it down here on number 3. See how it's kind of falling off the edge of the image? Looks like it might be cropped off in a bad way. So from this one, I would choose 1. I got my carrot. I'm going to go open in browser. So anything that I want to download, I'm going to open it in browser. That way I can get the highest resolution. All right, and then once I have it open in browser, I can just right click, save image as, and I'm going to save those images. And I want to see if it gave me the color combination that I wanted here. So just in case, I'm going to check on that one. And scroll to the bottom. And what it did here, it kind of understood that it had the feathers and the ears, but it did give me my colors, but it didn't give me the same style I wanted. So of these, I probably would pick number 2 here, and I probably would even add some flowers there. So if I pick number 2 and upscale it, without even going into Photoshop, I could do a vary region. Now we couldn't do this before with version 6. That's why I say they're getting better and better. So version 6 is coming along. So let's say I wanted some flowers here. I'm gonna go here. And really I only need to do one side because technically I could just mirror it, but I'll go ahead and do both sides. And here I'm gonna put what type of flowers I want. So let's say I want to do some roses. I'm not even gonna tell it what colors because it should already have some understanding of that. And now, even without going into Photoshop, these are some things that you can do inside of Midjourney to help you get the images that you want. All right, and while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my Remove BG program, which helps me remove my backgrounds before I even bring them into Photoshop. And just honestly, it does better for me than Photoshop by itself. Let's see, this one, I'm gonna name this bunny ears, feathers. I'll name this carrot. I'm probably not gonna use this because it's a little bit different style than my boho chic that I'm working with right now. And then we'll call this bunny ears, flowers. Like I said, I really like the van that we came up with too, but I already have a van in there. So I may give y'all these as extras. I'll go ahead and do those as extras. So I'll do van, Easter, van 1. And if it's a WebP version, I like to go ahead. I don't know why. Sometimes Dolly 3 gives me WebP. I really don't like that, but you can save it as a PNG or a JPEG as well. All right, and then all the other ones, y'all already have those. So what I'll do is I will select these. And Pat, if you wanted this one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take these. And I'm gonna drag and drop them right here. Oh, okay. I just told y'all that you can do that. So some of these, the ones that come from Dolly 3, from ChatGPT, they're WebP images. So I have to actually open them up in Photoshop, save them as JPEGs. I like to save them as JPEGs so I don't get confused. So we'll save that one as a JPEG. And then we'll cut the background out. And as a matter of fact, wherever I see the WebP, I'm gonna get rid of those so I don't even get confused. Even this one needs to be cleaned up. Let's save that one as a JPEG as well. Uh-oh, Photoshop was doing something weird on me. All right. So for what we're about to do, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these images here. Did it save me a JPEG? Yes, it did. 1, 2. Oh, it didn't finish doing that one. Oh, I chose a JPF. What is a JPF? I did not mean to do that. And I closed it down as I was saving it. So that's probably why Photoshop is fussing at me. And I don't see anything popping up on my other screen. Usually if it's an error, it's popping up on my other screen. Oh, here it is. It was popping up on my other screen. All right, so y'all just get this band that I got because I'm not going back to that one. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 6 total. And I already have that Highland cow in there for y'all. So that should be it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go ahead and grab that one too. Right now I should be able to drag and drop. 3 were already in there. I can hit start. And in less than 15 seconds, those are all done. And I want to see, was there anything I had to clean up here in Photoshop? I think we're pretty good here. I'll open them up just to check. Now, the reason why I like doing remove BG because Photoshop likes to leave a lot of the extra white stuff in there. Then I have to do some extra steps. Y'all see right there, it took 15 seconds to do what, 6 different images. So I'm not even about to play like that's not better than what I would be doing in Photoshop. So although you can remove the background in Photoshop, that's my preference is to go to remove BG and remove my backgrounds. You can also do it in Canva. It has the very same kind of smart background remover and it actually uses AI in order to remove the background. All right, so these came out great. My carrot looks good. Butterfly looks good. This cut out really well. And let's see here. Some of that came out nice, really nice and clean. And I got my bunny ears. Looks good, looks good. All right, so what I'm gonna do next, because I didn't really have much to clean up, the only thing I could possibly do is um, maybe take the image. I'm just not getting a good Stanley Cup type of image. So if that's the case, what I might do is, let me see. Let me see if I can find a tumbler with a handle. I'm on a website right now called Free Pick. I might even be able to put Stanley Cup in here because the Stanley Cup is like a foreign concept to these image processors. It doesn't understand what we're talking about other than the trophy Stanley Cup. Um, yeah, it's still not giving me that style. So for this one, I would probably actually look, you may find that more on Etsy. And this is why I'm saying Etsy is a good resource to look for like what's trending because even those style cups, if I go to Etsy right now, I would probably find the SVG for that. So see how you have the SVGs already of this stuff? And more than likely, it's because this is so popular right now, you would be able to actually put it together with your artwork. So if you wanted to have the Stanley Cup in the hand of the character, then you could absolutely get a vector image like this. You just want to make sure it kind of matches the style of it. So this one is a very, very highly detailed caricature version. So it wouldn't look right with just a flat, 2D SVG. So I would even go as far as to look for a more realistic cartoon version of it if you want it to fit. It fits these designs because these designs are pretty flat. So that's one thing that I do see when people are not able to put composite, and that's all you're doing is composite images together. Um, Also not understanding what the different styles are that work with that. So I would even look for maybe a I look for a PNG versus a SVG because a PNG, you may have a better chance of finding something with shading. And if not, then what I would do is I would shade my stuff. I would actually get a cartoon version and I would get an actual photo version. I would look on the photo version, see where the shading is. Like this one has a little bit more shading on it, right? I would look for something that has more shading on it and I would create my own tumbler. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that for y'all this upcoming class. I probably won't, but maybe that would be a good advanced class to do. So see how this one has a little bit more shading on it? It makes it look more substantial, stand out. That would go better with the image that we created versus these flat images. All right. So that's just some help there. All right. So I want to see who in the AI room right now who has a concept that pretty much you have all of your pieces for class. And customer happiness, we can go ahead and cut the after hours. We can stay on YouTube, but we need to go ahead and create a separate session for the 259 demo.
The recording has stopped.
Thank you. Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, so we are ready to design and flip this 5-minute template. This is template number 259. It's an Easter theme, but I want you to imagine it can be any and everything you want it to be, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and flip this with a couple of different clip art images that we created in Midjourney and or Dolly 3 in our AI in action class from Monday. So I want to see, we have our AI in action class live with us right now. Does anyone have, you want me to use your theme as an example of flipping this template? Now I'm going to flip it one time, but if you all have your image ready, I can go ahead and show you how to flip it to a whole different theme. If you want to volunteer your theme, just tell me what the theme is and what room you have, and I will flip it accordingly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this first to St. Patrick's Day. Okay, MB, you're volunteering? Awesome. I'm going to flip it first to St. Patrick's Day because it's right around the corner, and I want to show you how quickly you can make this something that would be personalized and or an image that you'd be able to create for products without having to personalize it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. First, we're going to change the name here. So I'm going to go ahead and close up my little folders here so we can look a little neater. And then we're going to get into some fun. Now, I do want you to know that for the background area, you have a square. So if you scroll down into your background, you have a square mask and then you have a rectangular mask. The square mask would be good if you're doing a pillow. So I want y'all to think graduation, Easter, even just home decor. You know, some people really like to change up their home decor pretty much every single season. This would be a good opportunity to use this template for that. All right, so I'm gonna go with the square grunge mask first. And then also for those of you with 15 by 15s or wanting to take up less space with
This meeting is being recorded.
and in order to get to Angel, we have to click on just that outline there. So see where it says name outline and then the word Angel? So this is the angel that has been rasterized. You'll see that there is the inside meat there, and then we have the outline of the font. Well, this is an editable font that I made for you all called Sketchy Doodle font. And you'll be able to turn that font on. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire group where it says name, outline, and pattern. I'm going to duplicate the group. And what I'll do for this one is double click on the T here. And I'm going to put Lucky, Lucky. And then I'm going to change the name of this whole folder to Lucky because we're going to have to do some things. And this is why this is the whole Photoshop class on just learning how to basically color in each individual letter with a different pattern. You all are going to do that. All right, so we're just working on our Lucky here. Now we have to take the text that we created and duplicate it. I'm going to duplicate the layer. And as soon as I duplicate it, I'm going to right click and rasterize. But before I do that, let me show you the font has lowercase letters as well. So if you want to use the lowercase version, which I will do for this one, I'll show you. We can do just the capital L and then the rest of the word lowercase. So you'll see the difference between all caps and lowercase. All right, but when it looks like we want it to look, I'm going to duplicate it so that I always have my editable layer. And then I'm going to call this one Lucky Rasterized. That way you'll remember that you have to right click on it and you have to rasterize that. If I can find the word rasterize, let me bring that up a little bit. Rasterize the type. What that means is that you're turning it into a raster image. Instead of an editable text, now it is literally just straight up pixels that you cannot change. You cannot type and manipulate them anymore. So this is why I like to keep this one and this one. Okay. And then I want to create another layer off of the inside meat of this text. Okay. So this is why this text is a little lower here. I'm going to go ahead and hold down, select one, control select this one. I'm going to link these so that when I move one, the other one moves. You see that? And what I'm going to do here is grab my magic wand tool. Now we are only going to sample this single layer. So if you see sample all layers is turned on, make sure that's off. I want to only select the contiguous, meaning that whatever I'm touching is what I want to select. I don't want to select the same pixel colors outside of the image as inside the image because it's empty inside of here. So watch what I'm going to do. Select one. Now you can hold down shift or you can select the addition selection up here. So that's single selection. This is the addition selection. And then it has a plus sign. So I'm selecting inside of the text right here. And just as simple as that, I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. The new layer is the square here with the plus sign. It's a new blank, fresh layer right now. And I'm going to use my paint bucket. I don't care what color you have selected, but make sure it is something you can at least see. So if you have white selected, make sure you at least transfer it to black. And then you're just going to hit the paint bucket inside of the meat of the text. And see how it colored everything in there? All right, so now I'm going to deselect, Control D to deselect. And I'm going to take 1, 2, and 3 here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and name this one Lucky Inside. Okay, so whatever your word is, you have the text here. This is it rasterized. And then I'll go ahead and put this as the outline. And this is the inside. The inside is automatically rasterized just because you use the paint bucket tool. Okay, so I'll take these 3 here. I'm going to start with the top one, hold down shift, select the bottom one, and link all 3 of those. So that means when I move one, they all move. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this the size that I want it to be, because once I start filling in my patterns, I don't want to continue to have to move these around because it gets a little tricky then. Okay. So really the only thing that's supposed to be turned on inside of here is just the outline. Now I want to move the inside meat to where the name is, where it says name pattern. I want to move that down. Now it's still linked, so it's going to, come on. It's going to move together, but you'll see where it had the letter and the word angel there. And I'm going to turn angel off. Matter of fact, I'm going to delete angel because we don't need that anymore. Now, if you notice, angel had some layer masks on here, so I'm gonna get rid of those. Because we're doing a totally different word, it's not going to work for us anymore. Now, there are quite a few ways you can do this. I'm going to show you my way to kind of maintain the patterns that I already have, because you may have something where you're changing out words very regularly. I don't like the idea of taking individual letters and moving them around and making them work. I like to be able to type it out as a font, just like we did just now. So Lucky is not going to be our Easter theme. Lucky is going to be our St. Patrick's theme. So what we're going to do is bring in, and let me make that a little bit bigger there. All right, so we're going to bring in some of our prints here. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 so that we have 3 prints we can alternate here. And then also you could do a solid color. You can do striped polka dots. I'm just going to be a little bit extra here. So I will open all 3 of those inside of Photoshop. And because the way that we prompted them in Midjourney, we're going to be able to use these as patterns. Now you can go purchase a pattern from stock photos, or if you have a free subscription where you can get stock images, you can download patterns from there as well. But in order to turn them into a Photoshop pattern, we must go to Edit, Define Pattern, and you can name it whatever you want here. So I'll name that one Clovers 2. This one, I'm going to go Edit, Define Pattern, and I'll call this, let's call this Marble, Green, and Gold. Now this is all AI artwork, so you're welcome to use this however you see fit, and it's going to be original because nobody else has this exact same thought that you do. All right, and let's go Edit, Define Pattern. And this one, I'm just going to save this green leopard. All right, now you will have saved 3 patterns for this class. Now what you can do, you can keep these patterns here by simply right-clicking and duplicating those layers. And then we'll change these out. We'll just turn off the eyeballs for these 3. That way you can keep your Easter patterns. What happens when you double-click on this top pattern here, this window will pop up. You can click on the down arrow and select the fill that you want there. That's really pretty. Okay, so that is pattern number 1 there. And what I'll do is I'll keep these as 1, 2, and 3. That way when we reference them in class, you'll have some understanding of which one you're clicking on. And right now, pattern 1 is the only one showing because it's on top. So this is why it's going to be really important for us to understand how we use our selection tools and how we use layer masks. This is an advanced topic, but we're going to make it super simple for the sake of this class. All right. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and create layer masks for each of these. One. Well, I thought I was creating it. Where did it go? There it goes. So we're just creating blank white layer masks here. And what I like to do is I really want to invert them. Control I, Control I, Control I, so they all turn up black, because black is going to conceal while white reveals. Now, I kind of need to know how many letters I have. I have 3 patterns, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so L and K are going to be 1 pattern. So I'm going to make sure that I have the layer Lucky selected. I'm going to select the inside meat of the L and the inside meat of the K, either while holding down Shift, or I'm going to select my addition selection up here. Okay, so L and K, we're good to go. And we're going to let that be let's let it be the darker green here. Now, the easiest thing to do is actually to just hit delete on your keyboard, but you have to have black as the foreground. I lied. It's because we have this here. And let's switch it around. It should be white as the foreground. There it goes. Okay, so when I have it all black, if I have black as the foreground, then when I hit delete, it puts white in those areas. So white reveals the text in that area. And I'll show you alternatively what you can do. Let's say it doesn't have any layer mask at all. And I know that my next pattern, let's go ahead and make that this one here. So with the shamrock, and keep in mind that you can also, you can scale these. You can change the angle of it if you want. I think I'm gonna make the pattern a little bit smaller so I can see the clovers there. That looks good. And then let me go ahead and change my third one to the leopard print. Won't see it unless I turn that off. I'm gonna delete that layer mask there too, just so I can resize this the way that I want. That looks cool. All right, so what I can do here, I'm starting with no layer mask at all. The other one I started with the layer mask, and then I either deleted the pixels that I didn't want of that layer mask of that frame. This is where I'm gonna create a layer mask from a selection. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm on the word lucky, click inside meet for the U and inside meet for the Y. And when I click on the pattern 2, I'm going to create a layer mask, and it's only going to apply where I had the inside meat selected. Now that's only going to work if you did not already have a layer mask on that layer. All right, so we'll try that again. That for me is a simpler method, but sometimes the way that you all have your Photoshop set up, it will automatically put layer masks for every single pattern fill. And if you don't remember to delete them, you won't be able to do the step that I just did with you, okay? So you can do it either of those ways. I'll go ahead and turn on the last one. Now, technically, because the last one is in the back, I don't even have to do the pattern fill. I don't have to do the layer mask for the pattern fill. I can just leave it as B because it's in the very, very back. So it's not going to show, it's only going to show wherever the other images do not show. So I really like that. I think that's cool. I don't know if you all thought it was harder to do this than it really is, because you could also, create little pieces of a print and then clip it down to each individual letter. But I find this to be a way that's scalable for me to design over and over again. All right, so I got my word lucky there. And now I want to change the initial this here. So I am going to right click right on the initial as the letter A right there. And again, you'll see that there's an editable version of the A and a rasterized version of the A. What I'm going to do is duplicate this entire group just because I want to keep my original state. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm just going to put this in one as letter L. I'm going to get rid of my letter A that's rasterized here. And then I also have that one I can get rid of. All right, so what we'll do is we will duplicate this letter A. Well, first let's turn it on so you can see it. I'm going to double click on the T and make it a little letter L. That's a lowercase L. I want it to be an uppercase L. And if these images are in your way for the moment, just turn them off so you can see what you're doing. All right. And it has like a stroke and some drop shadow on it. It does not matter because what you're going to be working from is the rasterized version of this L. So you're gonna right click and duplicate that layer. We're gonna call this one L rasterized. Now we will right click here, rasterize the type. And if you want to see this without the effects, this one we're going to do without the effects. So we're going to turn it off and just see the flat letter there. All right, so we have our L rasterized. We have our L, that's the editable text. And then we need one more layer. We need the layer that's going to be our L, which is the fill, the inside. So let's go ahead and select our magic wand. Select inside of the L. Now you have to be on the L rasterized layer in order to click the inside meet there. We're going to create a new layer. Just fill it with whatever colors in the foreground there. Just happens to be black here. And I'm going to name this one L Fill. And this one, the rasterized and the typable letter L, I'm going to link them all together so they all resize together. Now I will do Control D to deselect because I don't want anything funky to happen while I'm moving this, but I am going to move this down into my letter folder. And as you can see, it just took on the whatever pattern was right here. Now, the same way we changed the pattern before, we'll double click. All right, and maybe this time we will choose the leopard print. And just like I said, you can change the angle here. You can change the size and the scale of the print. Whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. All right, so we have our print inside of here now. And then you also have a print in the back. You do not have to use all of this print, okay? These are just options for you all. So for this one, let's say, I kind of want to use a little more contrast here. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. And of course, I got to be extra. So why not? I'm going to put a layer mask on this one. And let's say I want it to be half and half background pattern. I'm going to go ahead and choose my brush tool here. Soft round brush. Let's put about a 1400 size brush here. I'm going to brush that away. And here, I can choose what pattern I want to be there. All right, so I'm playing with this right now. Don't know where it's going quite yet. What I didn't want is I don't want that white pattern to be my edge. So I might let the inside be colored, the white pattern. Because the problem is when you are getting ready to print this, if you have an image that's white and a layer mask, you won't be able to see the actual layer mask back there. So let's go back to our inside here, the fill. There you go. I like that better. That gives me more contrast. All right, so I'm happy with that, and I could do half and half on the letter too, y'all. We can get crazy with these patterns and fills. Once y'all actually really figure this out, start having fun with it, you can make the top of your image be solid color. You can make the top of a letter fade off into a color versus another pattern. You can get real jiggy with it. All right, I'm gonna leave this one like this because I'm also going to bring in my images now. So let's say this is a shirt for someone or a pillow or something that you're doing personalized for them. You might want to switch out some images here. I'm going to put my cow. Okay, so my Highland cow, I'm going to increase that size, but that's the one I have for the Easter image. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bring in a little bit smaller. I want to see my letter. I'm going to change this out. I'll double click image number 4. Now, what you will do is you'll do file, place embedded. I just happen to have the cow already in here. You do file, place embedded. You can also pull your gnome in there, whatever image you want to use here. I just like the cow. So I'm going to close this down. It's going to ask me if I want to save. I'm going to say yes. And now I have a truly unique image. I can even take the background out if I want. And I think I'm going to save this with and without the background. I like to do a little overlap in here. And I'm going to go ahead and quick export as PNG. I go to the 259 folder, quick export as PNG so I can see this thing all together. And you see that I already have my 259 peeps and my 259 angel for Easter. This is going to be my lucky green. All right. So this is if you want to the name plus the letter, that's the longest thing you'll do is a name plus the letter. I also have an alternate design in here for you where you have the chilling with my peeps. And really, you can make this whatever text you want it to be. And in order to change that out, you can go right here where it says chilling with and double click on the T, change that out. It already has an arch in it. If you don't want the arch, click up top here where it says style and just make that none. I kind of like that it has arch. If it was a really long text, maybe you wouldn't want the arch, but I like the arch up there. And then here, instead of changing the smart object out, what I did was I did the peeps on here as separate layers. So you have that little image in there. But if you recall, we did basically a hue saturation color change here. And so what I would like to do is kind of show you that process. And then show you how sometimes you do a hue saturation change, like it slightly changed the color of the necklace here because there's a little bit of pink or reds inside of the chain here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can not change the color inside of these areas, but change the color for the actual bunny. And that's what I'm doing right now. So we have the color here that's recoloring everything. And I'm going to delete it because I'd rather show you how to do it from scratch. All right, so this one I'm going to create an adjustment layer. We'll do the hue saturation. It doesn't look like it did anything yet, but I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask so it only works for that little bunny. For the master, if I don't know what color it is, I'm going to hit this finger tool here and I'm going to hit somewhere where there's a color I want to change. Now that one says the red, so I can pull the reds down all the way, saturation all the way down, and I still see some color. So I'm also going to select again where I see color and it's telling me those are magentas. I pull that all the way down. Now it should be pretty much gray. Okay. Now the idea here is to see where your magentas and your reds are because you're going to be changing those. I want to make this one teal and I want to make the other one yellow. So I'll take my magentas, make sure my saturation is at least back up to the middle. And I'm going to shift the color till I get more to the color teal that I want. So it's going to be somewhere between blue and green. There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing with the reds because remember it was reds and magentas. I'm gonna bring the saturation up now, and I'm gonna pull this to where that's a little too actually, the mint green might be pretty cool. I didn't even think of that. But I kinda like that teal blue a little bit. Right, a little turquoise. Right about here. And then I'm gonna change my magentas to about that same level because I'm looking at the colors that's in my tie-dye. All right, so that changed my bunny. It did slightly change my necklace as well, but I can take that hue saturation layer and say, hey, I do not want to change the necklace at all. So in that case, I'm just going to do the paintbrush. It's the easiest way to do it. Make sure that you have some hardness on the paintbrush. So I'll just select a hard brush here. The size here, I'm going to go with about a 60. And then on the white, I'm going to paint black because black is going to conceal while white reveals. So I want to conceal the color change only over the chain. So I'm going to paint over this chain. You see how the color is coming back now? So I'm just painting on the chain. I have a really good um, extra space where that dark black outline is. So I can be a little sloppy here and it's still giving me a little grace. Now that brings the color of my chain back, so I don't have to worry about my chain looking dull just because I took out the red colors because there is some red in that gold. All right, so now I can take this peep here and I'm going to alt click and drag a version of over here. And now this one, I'm still going to change the reds. I want this one to be more yellow. I'm going to take the saturation for the reds all the way down and change the magenta first so I can get it right. All right, and then let me change the reds now. There we go. Want a nice little pretty yellow. Beautiful. That's probably even better than the one I did before. And as you can see, if I turn this layer mask on and off, the color of the chain stays exactly the same. So all I did was change the coloring of the marshmallow. Right, and this one, again, you can choose to change your pattern fill there. I really like this little plaid here, but I also like the Easter egg. So I'm probably, y'all know me, I'm gonna half and half it. And I'm just changing the scale right now, the size that I want it to be. And this time, instead of half and half it top and bottom, I'll half and half it left and right, just so you can see that process. So all I have to do is the one that's up top, add a layer mask. Take my brush here. I want to reintroduce my soft round brush and my size 1400. And I'm just doing a little sweep here, up and down. And now I have my little half and half. And then I also have a pattern inside of the text here that you can change out as well. And right now I have the tie-dye in there, but of course you can change it to whatever you like. And that is it, y'all. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and save this design and quick export it as PNG. And I'll save over this old one. All right, and if you want the longer layer mask, the 13 by 19 one, all you have to do is just activate it down here. Ooh, now I could have 3 patterns if I wanted. It's gonna get me in some more trouble, y'all. All right, so if I did want to put a 3rd pattern here, which why not? Let's go ahead and turn on this one here. And right now I'm doing a little peekaboo through to this one. I'm gonna invert this. And then I'll fade off some of this one so that I can see the plaid underneath. So the tie-dye one, let's make tie-dye just a tad bit smaller in scale. And then I will, on the layer mask layer, paint away here because I don't want the tie-dye where my words are. I want my little plaid to show through there. All right, so I can take those now. And if I had additional text, I could put down here as well. But I'm just gonna move this down a little bit. Move my bunny peeps. All right, and then I have my 3 different patterns in there because I'm extra, extra. All right, my love, so that is it. I was gonna do one more flip tonight, but I think that you all are going to spend a little bit of time on Wednesday doing the fill of the letters and the name. So it's really not complicated at all. It's just you have to get the repeat process. So what you should have ready already are your patterns. So have the 3 images that you want to use as patterns already ready to go because basically you can go ahead and switch those out and that'll be the first thing that you all upload. Of course, go ahead and have your fonts installed and whatever image that you're going to use, either for your accent or your main image, make sure that the background is already cut out of that. If you have those things done, you're going to be able to flip right through this process. All right, my love. So since we are already past time, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one short. Well, not short, it's actually long, but I'm gonna cut it off. You all will be able to flip this out in class to whatever thing you want. Please don't think that it can only be Easter or St. Patrick's Day. Like literally, this is a template you can use 24/7 year round for whatever your theme is. All right. So with that said, I appreciate you and I love you dearly. And until next time, bye. Good night, y'all.